Hey, singer, radio personality, and Italian. Vinnie Medugno here, and you're on the Italian Sicilians Do It Better podcast. Capisci? Guarda.
Italian Sicilians do it better. Oh, can't you see? From cooking to comedy, it's pure family. Turn it up. This groove's for you. Queens in the house, bringing something true.
What's going on, everyone? We're back with another one. Today, I think it's long overdue, but I got a good friend of mine here in the building. Marcus, you good?
I'm good.
Everyone, Vinnie Medugno is here. How you doing?
I'm doing better now that I'm with you because you do it better.
Or so we say.
I mean, I appreciate you validating my Italianness because, this is the first Italian podcast I've been invited on. So thank you very much.
No problem. We carded you at the door, so we know.
It's true. Like, I figured having some Italian records out, being into Italian stuff,
Gotta tell you, I love your voice.
Thank you.
That Felicità do-up you did. Do-up, I said. That you did. At certain points of that song, you sound like Albano.
I get that a lot. And you know something? It's funny how that came to be. My aunt, she said to me when she seen the original online of him and Romina, she said, Vincent, I would love for you to sing this song. I love this song. I never really thought about it, and I never really gave it too much of a second or a third listen. And then Maria Venuto says to me, Vin, my father thinks we should remake Felicità by Albano.
the
And I
stars
says,
are
you know
aligning.
what? This is the second person that said it. I guess we got to do it.
Yeah.
And then he made a mashup with Ci Sarà. And I listened to Albano a little bit. But then when I really heard the recordings of the two of us together, it was like, wow. And he actually heard my version. I met him in Atlantic City.
Oh, shit.
And I showed it to him. And he said, all the best. You really sound like me.
Oh,
Oh, you did?
But he was super supportive of it.
Right.
She was a little more timid. I don't want to say standoffish, but she was
Yeah.
very timid. And she said, beautiful, beautiful. Like, she was in the middle of a show with him.
Okay.
She was kind of like in the zone. We were backstage at the
Gotcha.
Ocean Casino, but she liked it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. Like, when I listened to it the first time, I'm like, that's not him. That's him. That's not him. He sounds just like
I
him.
know.
Thank you. Thank you. I take that as a compliment,
You should.
It's
So-
a beautiful record.
How did you discover this voice? Like, when did that happen and you started singing?
So surprisingly enough, I was 8 years old, and my nonna, who we called Nunny, that was her nickname, she just bought a karaoke machine for me.
Okay.
And my mother was like, gee, thanks. Now I got to hear him in the house on the microphone, right?
All I need now.
But then, like, some of the cassette tapes, that's how far back we're going, that came were like Tom Jones, Frankie Valli, Elvis,
Mhm.
Bobby Darin. And I started singing all the songs that I grew up listening to. But on the flip side, also would pretend I was a radio DJ and tape myself having conversations with myself with different
I
voices.
see how
and
this is all getting together.
different phone call. And it's true. They say, like, what you do as a kid, if people cultivate it, it becomes your life. And that was really it. Singing at family parties. My uncle and aunt used to always hire like the best impersonators for family functions, and they would bring like 6 sound systems. So it was like an Elvis impersonator, a Sinatra impersonator, and I'd start singing with them at a young age, and just little by little, and then all of a sudden one day I was 11 years old in junior high school, and the teacher running the talent show said, "I want you to do something." I said, "What?" She said, "I want you to sing. I don't know. There's a personality in there."
Mhm.
So I was 11 years old in a tuxedo, drinking.
You must have been very popular.
drinking apple cider in a champagne glass. And I did That's Life by Frank Sinatra. And it was the first time I ever really performed in front of a live crowd. And it was all like my peers and their families and teachers. And the audience went nuts.
Nice.
And that night was like the night I said I was bit with the bug.
There you
I've
go.
been doing it ever since,
So let me ask you: were you part of one of the families where they knew you had a talent? So then every gathering, Vin, sing a song. Come here and sing. Were you
Well,
one of
aside
those?
from that, I wound up becoming the family DJ that everybody got to
shit.
enjoy. And Matamo had to go
For free?
hours earlier and set up. And, then you were, of course, nominated by the friends of the family and this, that, and the
Right.
third. And, needless to say, but it was always great, you know.
That's crazy how now I see how the puzzle was
It
made.
just was all made.
That's awesome.
And then radio was a whole nother thing, where I was a kid loving freestyle music and DJing, and you know.
Ask him if he likes freestyle.
Do you like freestyle?
I do not. If you were to ask
Put
me,
him in the bathroom.
hold on, that's fine. I get sent there all the time when it comes to this. I get it. I if you would ask me, yo, you know that song? Yes. Can I sing it? Sure. Do you like it? No.
But do you like classic disco?
Some.
Okay. fair
Some.
enough.
I'm very flexible.
So those were the things I liked listening to. My mother, I call it Mom's Sunday sauce making music. And all of a sudden one day, my next door neighbor is blasting Judy Torres in front of the house. He's washing his car. He goes, I know her. I said, yeah, all right. I was like that little
Kiss
scutch,
my ass.
little shithead on the block, like, riding by on my bike with the chains and everything. I was like, yeah, all right, you know.
All right, bro.
One night, doorbell rings, 10 o'clock at night. I'll never forget it. It was
That's tough.
November 1999. I was getting ready to go to bed. Opened the front door. Hi, I'm Judy Torres. I screamed, bullshit! Just like that. She laughed. My neighbor said, I told you I knew her. She came in. 2 weeks later, I was in the studio at KTU watching her.
She's a sweet
Oh,
lady,
wow.
dude.
And then I met this guy called the Supreme Cuisine, Brooklyn's own Joe Corsi.
I know. I'm very-
Love the fact that there was a little 11-year-old Guido with a tracksuit, gold chains, and a pinky ring,
So you go way back with them.
listening and watching him do radio. I
Wow.
was fascinated. My mother was in the studio with me. Of course, she brought a whole thing of sauce up, which Joe loved. Got a kick out of that. And he said to me, when you get older, if you really want to do radio, remember me when it's time for an internship. College came. He cashed in on that.
Nice.
We've been buddies ever since. He's been
Nice.
the greatest radio mentor ever.
Dope. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Taught me how to make a one-man radio show sound like a party in a studio.
That's
It's the art of theater of the mind radio.
So you did that in college.
Did that in college. Yeah, I'm Staten Island. College is Staten Island. I like to say CSI is the college for smart Italians. But it was bad because my college radio name, I don't know if I should be ashamed to say it or we can laugh about it.
Give us a hint.
Vinnie the Guinea.
Oh shit! Damn.
There was one of those guys.
There was a Gino the Guinea.
Gino the Guinea.
Right.
But I don't even know where Vinnie the Guinea came from. I think my brother might have said it to me once in jest. And we laughed and we created like this freestyle character, this disco guy. But then it caught on.
Yeah.
And then I started making friends with Raina, Lucas Prada, and all of their records before they were breaking on mainstream radio. We were playing on the college station. And we knew the bigwigs at KTU in those times were listening. And I knew that they were checking me out and whatnot. And we would play a lot of their records before they spun on mainstream radio, kind of like a test. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd be hosting like concerts in the middle of the Staten Island Mall with them.
That's
Like
great.
really fun stuff.
It's like a dream right there.
It is. It is. And you know something? It was like, that was my teens and 20s. Where a lot of people my age were going out and doing reckless things. I was like so driven and focused on, I guess, to eventually be where I'm at now. And it just happened. It happened organically.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So if you had to choose a profession to do forever, because you mentioned studio time, you mentioned singing, right? What would you choose?
Oh, man.
If you only have one
I
choice.
think all of it makes up who I am. But, and I love it. It definitely would be radio if I had no other choice.
Radio.
But being a high school teacher,
Mhm.
that's purpose, man. You get up every day and you know you're impacting the lives of kids.
Right.
Like, you know, that gets into the whole, you know, why did God put me here thing? And I'm a firm believer in my work with the kids has probably been definitely what's rewarded me for the life I have. You know, I look at it like it's a vocation, teaching. I love it. I love it. And I teach this podcasting, broadcasting, radio. So my classroom is a studio. So it's like I got the best of both worlds.
So someone that knows stuff, what do you think?
I think it's excellent. I think it's very well done. It's well lit. You got the 3 cameras. How you doing? You know,
Thank
all
you
the
for being
microphones
kind.
are very good. It's good stuff.
Marcus doubts me. I thought it was all right.
I think it's great.
Nah, it definitely is. From when we started to what it is now, it's definitely different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about. in anything we do is evolution and growth, right?
So I want to get into a little bit of the Italian American culture.
Let's do it.
There's so much of it.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who
And
promote
I
it.
love the fact, I will say this to all the Italian content creators. I love the fact that we're coming to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause for a while, you know, it was everybody else but us. So thanks to you guys.
I
Thanks to
appreciate
everybody else that's doing it. You know, there's enough to go around for everybody.
100%. And thank you. The
Absolutely.
voices you put out and all the other stuff that you guys do with the community is freaking amazing.
I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I appreciate
But I
it.
want to get into
Hi,
more-
quick break here to tell you all about my upcoming comedy special, Candice Gardino, Italian Bread. It's premiering January 27th on Amazon Prime and January 30th on Apple TV. This was a lot of hard work, and I'm so excited to share it with you all. There's some laughing, there's some yelling, and a whole bunch of family drama that we can all relate to. So grab your favorite family member, a bowl of pasta, and come laugh with me. It's cheaper than therapy.
I appreciate
But I want to get into more like, why can't Italians all get along? Like, I'm sure you've been around that.
I mean, it's as simple as sauce and gravy,
Ugh.
right?
Which-
Pasta or macaroni. Like, you know,
Macaroni
Yeah,
and gravy.
that stuff gives me agita.
like, right? I don't know why Italians don't get along. And every one of us has mob ties, apparently.
Oh well, yeah. We all know somebody in the back of a coffee shop somewhere. But it's not just that. I said this earlier too. I said it's personalities. I don't think it's culture. I think it's personalities, and it's what we kind of like. Everyone grows up with those people in their households, and they're just bringing those people out to the forefront of who they know. So it's like their own personality plus somebody probably that they know. It's just coming out. I don't think it's a cultural thing or it's a genetic.
I think it's a thing we have in common thing. And
Right.
so many of us can relate to it.
Yeah.
And then once it becomes known or viral, people jump on it as fans because they're like, I can't believe this is real life. But then they read the comments and they see so many of us have commonalities and you don't understand it unless you experience it. Like my mother, it's funny. My brother says it too all the time. We've posted her on social media years before it was even a thing to post your mother cooking. That if I really, really wanted to do it, she would have been a viral,
Right.
insane success overnight.
insane, yeah.
But you know, get the hell out of my kitchen with, my brother has long hair, with that hair, and you get the hell out of my kitchen with cameras. Because I don't want people looking at my counters thinking it's dirty, because I
Right.
keep my house clean. And please, I don't even look camera ready. I said, but that's what would make you go viral, Ma. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my mother. I took a picture upstairs and I posted it. And there, what are you posting? People see what's in your china closet. So what?
Everything's a secret.
True. But our family's roots go deeper than, you know, what a lot of the Italian stuff out there is very stereotypical to me.
Right.
Right.
Our roots go deep. My mother grew up in Little Italy. So Feast of San Gennaro is very special to me. That's like,
So
you
she
know,
was born in America.
oh yeah. Her parents were, her grandparents were not.
Okay.
Where from?
So it's like a mixed bag, right? On my father's side, there's a little bit of Avellino. There's Sicilian, there's Napolitan, there's, you know, it's a mixed bag.
Right.
So, but it's beautiful. And then they emigrated here, and Little Italy, my great grandmother was like the head activities woman for the police athletic league next to the old St. Patrick's Cathedral, the original, the Basilica downtown. Like so much so that they opened the catacombs and they put her son, my great uncle, my grandmother's brother, they just buried him in there.
Oh wow.
You know, and you got to really have a root to the neighborhood to be buried in
Right.
there.
Wow.
Have you ever been down there? It's
I haven't.
absolutely exquisite
Wow.
to see the history of New York and the people that are buried under there, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then he had a great life, and he was all about his neighborhood. He actually produced films with a guy who slept on his couch by the name of Robert De Niro. And he was, you know, his first film that he produced with a guy named Martin Scorsese. You might know him well.
I
It's
heard him.
called Mean Streets. And Mean Streets is actually about my grandmother's little brother, Salvatore. So if you ever watch
That's
Mean
amazing.
Streets, which was Scorsese's real breakout film with Harvey Keitel, my grandmother's brother is the character Johnny Boy that De Niro played. So they used to call him Bobby the Blonde. And my uncles used to tell him when he would say, I'm going to be a big famous Hollywood actor sleeping on my grandmother's couch. Yeah, get the hell out of here. You're not going to amount to nothing. And he left and he went out and became a big actor. And he actually came to my great uncle's funeral.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, last year. And he gave a beautiful eulogy, him and Scorsese.
Wow.
Great guy, regardless of what anybody sees of him publicly, and people are entitled to their opinion. It was funny because it was the day after election day.
Holy
So I was
shit.
busting his chops. I said, "You all right today?" But he laughed about it. He was a sport
Yeah.
and just a genuinely good guy, and had great conversations with our family. He was jovial, and he actually cried. He shed a tear for my great uncle, who I don't know if you've seen the most recent picture at the end of last year was the Alto Knights.
Yeah.
So my great uncle, my grandmother's brother, was Tony Bender, the character that was in the movie with the cane.
Oh wow.
And
your
it was-
family sure has an imprint.
Yeah,
in-
and it was he
city.
was stage 4 at that time. Didn't say nothing. Finished the role. Then shot a documentary about growing up with Scorsese in Little Italy. His name was Robert Uricola, and he passed. And his dream was to see the film. So he didn't get to see it, but he did get to
wow.
see it. So.
Wow.
So yeah, we have that. Then my father's side grew up in the North End of Boston. So there's that great rivalry of Boston and New York. Have you ever been to the North End of Boston, the really Italian
No.
side?
We got close to it, but I didn't get into the side of it.
You
Little
got
Italy,
it.
they
You
have
got
like
it.
another Italy there.
Yeah,
right?
it's picture Little Italy in New York, but like you can lick the floors.
Nice.
It's old school Italians preserving the entire area. You know, they're like really hardcore.
Fuck, dude.
And it's beautiful. And the Fisherman's Feast is one of the oldest feasts in the North End. Then the St. Anthony Feast. I've been able to perform at the Fisherman's Feast a few times with Maria and Angelo and
Sounds like
whatnot.
I'm missing out there.
You have to go.
I think
Even
we
if
were
it's just
told.
a thing that you do with your family. You take the kids, you take the missus, you go up. You'll love it.
There was somebody else who told us that we should really head out there. It was another person that we had on. They said,
Wooden
"You
Spoon
gotta
had to
go."
be because he's there every year.
Mm.
He's got a big booth. He's great.
Is that the guy that also does
With the wooden
interviews?
spoons,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I you know what it is? It's hard to say because I don't want people thinking I don't like the Italian feasts. It's
Well, there's so many of them.
yeah.
But what's nice about this one, it almost feels like you're stepping back in time. They got a balcony right near where the feast is, like in the middle of Hanover Street,
Mhm.
and they put like the angel of the feast,
oh
which is usually a little girl, and they hoist her up and she flies over the whole feast, and they do a beautiful light
That's
show.
nice.
It's like really well done. The procession, the whole neighborhood stops for the procession.
I gotta check that out.
There's the marching bands, yeah.
But do you agree that these feasts have changed dramatically? At least the
I
New
mean,
York
I think
ones.
here in the boroughs.
That's what I'm
New
saying,
York
the New
has.
York
Yeah.
ones.
New York has.
Okay.
But I can tell you, if you've seen Boston,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
That's why this year it's like a lot of people. It's like I didn't see you guys at the feasts.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really do any in the neighborhood.
Right.
And not that I don't want to support our community, but we went to one in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
Beautiful, calm.
Mhm.
Like it was meaningful. It wasn't crowded.
Right.
But the one in Boston, I think.
Well, towards the end of this year, San Gennaro's turning 100. So
Oh wow.
that's going to be a big one.
I can see that.
So definitely you should, be part of that somehow. Come on, make it happen. Mario, the Candyman. Let's go.
I heard he
the
sells
Candyman.
chocolates. Is that?
Mario's a great guy. Mario, the Candyman. Caparello. He's on the board of directors for the San. Oh, you're thinking Little Mario.
So I was like, Mario who? He's a candy man. I know he sells chocolates.
I know he does.
I was like, wait a minute, which Mario are you talking
No,
about? here?
Mario the Candyman is great. He has organized a lot of the festivities. At the San Gennaro feast last year that we just finished
Mhm.
was really good.
Right.
It was really stepped up, and I think it's going in the right direction.
So there's been a change, and it's changing to the better.
I think so.
Good.
That's
I
nice.
think so. There's carpeting on the stage, for Christ's sake.
That's even better. That's even better.
So with your grandparents came here, or their parents came to America?
So my great grandparents on my mother's side, grandparents on my father's side.
Now, from that time back, where did the Italian language stop for you?
So with the singing of it and whatnot,
I would have never known. I'll be honest with you.
I
that
took
you
it
don't
in
speak
school,
Yeah.
fluent. Got like
You
I was
speak
the
it pretty
kid.
well.
I was the kid in the 8th grade with the 93 on the Regent.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it was pretty good.
My
So when I got
Italian
into
teacher-
high school, I was a freshman taking level 8 Italian with seniors. Yeah.
My Italian teacher hated me.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
I
a-
love it.
Same.
I think it's a beautiful language.
Yeah, but we didn't speak Italian. We
It's
spoke.
all right.
It wasn't in school. It wasn't okay.
But when you sing, it comes back to you. So singing it came back. Being around Venuto was very funny because then I learned the whole dialect part of it.
Mm,
You know, that's a whole nother story.
that's where
in
we got
itself.
screwed on.
His his wife, God rest her soul,
Yeah.
when she had Alexa, the youngest daughter, it was funny because Maria and Connie, who were like sisters to me, they were meeting their fiancés, they were going out and whatnot, but like there was a lull where dance music started to kind of fall off New York radio,
Yeah.
and Angela was still getting booked to go do performances. So Giselle would say, "Oh, you go out with him. Go. I'm not in the mood to go out tonight."
Right.
So they taught me the business of road management, right? So I would go out with him, and he would start saying things to me in dialect about the business at the club, maybe in front of the people, like with accepting the money or how much I'm supposed to take or what to do with the DJ or whatnot. And, you know, started to get around it that way. And now it's all the slang and everything. It's just so much funny.
different.
Yeah, but when
It's
you're around
different.
them, it just comes out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's funny.
Like this word is always different. And in slang, how do you say apple in Italian?
Well, it depends. If you want to say the proper pronunciation, it's mela, la mela, a restaurant
You?
in the city.
Pumo.
Boom, all right.
So that's why my Italian teacher hated me.
Oh, it was always that fight, man. Always that fight, dude.
You say chair.
Right. Oh man, you tested me on the spot. I forgot it. Oh, yeah, sedia. Right, that's the sit to me.
We say
Sedia.
sedia.
Sedia. Yeah.
So you
Right.
can imagine my Italian teacher out.
Like when my father was, when we were kids, because my father's family spoke like the broken dialect, they say bagnarol, right?
Bagnarol.
About the bathtub. The bagnarol.
Oh, a
La
bagnera.
bagnera is right, but they say la bagnarol, right? Because also too in the record, Peppino the Italian Mouse. If I ever
Right.
catch you, I'm gonna throw you right in a bagnarol, like
Yeah.
you know.
Now I get it.
Yeah, like right
you
now.
just solved the problem
That's
for
right.
me.
Like right now, we're sitting here in un basamento.
Basamento.
Put him a pitch on the Frigidaire, right? But it really wasn't a thing. Like Frigidaire was a brand, but that's somehow Italians call the refrigerator la Frigidaire.
Frigidaire. But you know why, right?
Era con dec.
No, but you know why they call it a frigidaire, right?
Because it was the brand, frigid
Oh,
air.
Right. A lot of people just didn't understand that.
Frigid
There's
air.
a bunch of those. There's
yeah.
carro.
Dude, you gotta understand.
La macchina.
You just solved one of the biggest mysteries I've had in my life since I heard it, which is Peppino and a bagnero. I'm like, what the fuck
That
is a
whole song is
bagnero?
all dialect, the way he sings it,
Yeah.
if you listen to it.
It's ins-
That is not straight up Italian, but
couldn't
that's
believe
why it
it.
was such a great
I'm kind
record.
of shocked how mind blowing.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, what? He's fucking right. Oh shit!
go, the
I didn't
bagnero.
get it.
Yeah. Mascasciata la mano, mousetrap.
Are you going to bring back some Lumonti, bro?
Maybe.
I
Maybe
think
we'll
you
do
would
a
do good.
dance. Maybe we'll do a dance remake. Don't steal it now. You understand me? You understand me? It's enough to go around for everybody.
I want to hear an acapella from him.
Yeah,
You got a voice, bro.
I know he does.
So all these stages and performances you've done, right? Where have you said the best would have been so far you put your feet on?
PNC Bank Arts Center in New Jersey.
Really?
Every time I do it, I'm not bragging.
Magical?
There's always
okay to brag.
there's always 10 to 14,000 people in the audience.
Oh,
There
wow.
you go.
Yeah.
How's
I
your
think that's
how do
bragging
you
rights.
feel in front of all those people? You still get
I
that?
love it. It's a natural high, man. It's an adrenaline rush. Yeah.
Everybody says
I
that.
don't think it's stage fright.
No,
I don't know. You can ask my brother if I ever had stage fright. I don't think there was such a thing.
at least not for you.
Yeah, I don't know. We all get anxious in different ways. I don't know.
Right.
For me, there was never a stage fright. I was always very comfortable in front of a crowd.
Well, I guess, I mean, I could relate. You know, since 11 years
Yeah.
old, singing in front of family, and you kind of broke your ice really
Like,
young.
there was 10 aunts and uncles on my mother's side and 15 on my father's side. None of my grandparents watched TV, and they probably couldn't afford it.
Right.
So what they do after dinner?
the
They went
kids
in a
out.
bagnarol.
There you go. Bring them out.
Right. That's what it was. You know, it was just, you know.
So a question that we also like to ask is, what is a good experience you had while on the road and a bad experience while you're on the
I
road?
like the bad ones. I love the bad ones.
He likes the bad
I
stuff.
love the bad ones.
Elaborate.
Embarrassing moment, a conflict with somebody. I anything that you would say.
So you grew up on old school TV?
Yeah.
I might have had words with David Cassidy from the Partridge Family and
Are you
told him I
fucking
was going to
serious?
throw
The
him down the
Partridge
steps.
Family?
Yeah.
How? Like what?
He
the
was
fuck?
very nasty to the people that were running the show. We were backstage. We were on the same show. This is when he was alive. And, you know, the way he spoke to the people who happened to be friends of mine, I told him, I said, I'll kick you down those steps right now.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
I don't think I'm a tough guy or anything.
No.
He was just like super disrespectful and rude. That was one
I wouldn't expect
experience.
that one.
Yeah, yeah. A little embriagón, and
Yeah.
he was,
It's always the uninspected ones.
you know, he actually finished his concert and did the psych out. You know, those legends back in the day, they do the psych out. Like they come off stage and, you know, they're supposed to go back out for the encore. Well, I'm not going back out there, but he didn't do the biggest hit, which was I Think I Love You by the Padre. I think I love you. Like, that's what
Right.
put you on the map, kid. No.
Wow.
And he actually said backstage, I ain't fucking Keith Partridge. I'm David Cassidy. To which I looked at him, I whipped my neck real quick. I said, if you weren't Keith Partridge, nobody would know who the David Cassidy was. Get out there and go do the song.
What the fuck?
And he was so nasty to the people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that
But it really wasn't like a bad experience. It just was like,
a shocking.
you'd almost rather have not had the exchange because now your whole image is tainted of the person. A funny
Right.
exchange was Paul Anka.
Mm.
Everybody says to me, you know, he's crazy. He's mean. Don't look him in the eye. Don't put your hand out to shake his hand. He doesn't like to engage with people, right? And I was brought out on stage to promote the theater that they were doing and host the show.
I got a feeling I know where you're going.
And they're like, you know, don't say his name because there's a big montage and there's an orchestra and there's an overture and it's a beautiful thing. I come off the stage. He put his hand out. He shook my hand. He was like, it's so nice to see you. Who you was. I said, my mother's in the pit. We got VIP seats. That's great. He put his hand out. He seen me and the mother in the pit. He was shaking her hand. He's like, great, great, great. And they told me, you know, don't ask for a picture, nothing. Meanwhile, nicest guy. Lo and behold, I just came off a cruise in November with him that we performed on together called the Malt Shop Memories Cruise. So that was a good experience. Priscilla Presley was a great experience.
Oh, wow.
Got to interview her on the radio and spend a week with her on a cruise. She was a doll. Debunked a lot of things that people thought about Elvis.
Wow.
That's
yeah.
crazy. All those names you mentioned.
Smokey Robinson, really cool. You know, I'm on the fence with that because there was stuff last year in the news about him. They said that he allegedly, you know, was inappropriate with the women that worked in his house, but they said she worked for him for 14 years. So it's like, I don't know. And the wife was in the house. So my whole thing is like, if you're working for the guy for 14 years and he's supposedly being inappropriate with you, when do you quit? When do you leave?
Right.
You know, great guy. He was just the nicest man, a piece of bread.
Wow.
You know, this is one of the founding fathers of Motown. You know what I mean?
That's
So
insane.
he's cool to work with. Engelbert Humperdinck, great guy. Tom Jones, great guy.
I'm blown away. I really
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
You've got to meet and spoken to legends.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very blessed. One of my best friends is Jackie Wilson's son. His name is Bobby Wilson.
Bobby Wilson.
Yeah. So the two of us go on the road together. We do a lot of oldie shows together.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Man, you got a deep history with musicians, actors, the
Yeah.
city. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's just like, I feel like an Italian Forrest Gump. Forestino. Forestino Gumpo.
Run, Forrest.
Che camminare.
So what kind of like? I'm guessing there's more than just you singing Italian. So what kind of style do you enjoy?
For a little minute, you know, I was an EDM singer, but I'll deny it if you ask me. So don't even.
Don't ask me.
Yeah, it's like real douchebag era with the faux hawk. You know,
I got a fork. What are
fist
you laughing
pumping.
I
You know, but like, you know, it was cool. I did have a Billboard breakout record, Underground, in 2009. Let it stay underground though. But
We
but
can
it
dig
was
it up.
cool. I enjoyed it. You know, keep it 6 feet under. No questions.
No
asked.
questions.
Why?
I just, you know what it was?
You weren't proud of it?
I'm proud of anything that I did vocally,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like I wasn't me. If that's makes
You
sense.
felt like you were somebody else?
Yeah, it wasn't
or-
authentic. You know what I mean? Like it
Okay.
was just like that's when you learn and you grow in the business.
It's
like,
good where it was.
it's good where it was. It was good experience. I was on an Italian label, Casa Records. The producer was a great Italian guy.
Okay.
He did some work with Venuto and whatnot. Beautiful stuff. But it wasn't authentic. It
You
was
can't just say that was your evolution moment.
it was.
That's what I'm saying.
It
So
was
you gotta be proud
auto
of that.
tune. It was everything that they wanted me to sound very David Guetta kind of sounding. Like I had to put the nasally twang in my
I
voice.
gotcha.
You know, it was good.
It just wasn't you.
It just wasn't authentic.
That's fine.
Not that I was putting on a persona. I was doing what they asked me to do in the agreement that I had.
Right.
Did the 3 singles graciously. When it finished, I said I want to go a different route. Oldies was always my thing, singing the adult contemporary standards.
All right.
And, you know, once I started being organically myself, that's when it took off.
So you're happy with the steps you took?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
No
Perform
regrets.
with a live band. I have a backup trio of girls behind me. It's a whole different thing.
That's
You
fucking
know?
awesome, man.
So that's where I'm going to go back to that question. If tomorrow you have the chance.
Like, here you go. I'll give you like 2 legends, great Italians that I wasn't just fortunate to perform with, they were friends. Bobby Rydell, who literally gave America the English version of Volare.
Mm-hmm.
It went #1. He was an actor. And Frankie Avalon, who, if you don't know who he is, or anybody watching don't know who he is, you would think he was just the teen angel that sang Beauty School Dropout in Greece. But, you know, he was a legend in his own right with a beautiful Italian actress, Annette Funicello, in the 50s and 60s. Another beautiful lady I had the pleasure of working with on a number of occasions, Connie Francis.
Connie Francis.
Yeah. Like, you know, more than just Pretty Little Baby, which was a record she forgot that she ever recorded.
She passed away this year.
She passed away last year.
Last year already?
We're in
Jesus.
2026 now.
Time flies.
See that? Happy New Year.
Buon anno.
Time
Thank
flies.
you for the leftover Christmas fruitcake that you obligatorily took that you didn't want before we came on the air. It was very good.
And the argument was it panettone? Was it pandoro? I'm tired of having this argument.
I like my mother's. Simple as that. That's the safe answer.
Is it panettone or pandoro?
It's whatever you think it should be.
It stays neutral. I like
That's
that.
right.
I like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
So you said like you had a relationship with your nonna.
Oh, yeah. Both of them.
And,
And they were both hysterical.
so if you had to tell me a dish, I have some questions you've written for you. Tell me a dish your nonna made that would never be recreated by anyone else.
So Dee, as my brother would call her, my mother's mother, who I would just call Graham, who was so not your typical fuzzy, let me wear a house dress, nonna. She was from Little Italy, Mulberry Street, smoked a cigarette with diabetes and all kinds of medical issues. And if you called her out on it, she called you legitimate and a rat. That was the kind of grandmother she was. The best thing I ever seen her whip up was amazing. Leftover mashed potatoes, vegetables, peasant dishes. Pulled it out with the cigarette hanging out of her mouth with the ash this long.
Just waiting to break
Just
off.
waiting to break
No,
up. But
that's the thing, it don't break
But
off.
that's the thing. It didn't break off. But a couple times, my Uncle Jerry did say, growing up, my godfather, he said, I swear, mommy's sauce tasted the best when it tasted like cigarette smoke. So maybe a few times the ash got in there. But she made potato croquettes and rice balls in a matter of 15 minutes.
Wow.
And some of these women today, they take all day and a lot of makeup and hair and lighting to make the rice balls. I'm not crapping on any of yous, but, you know, the Italian grandmothers did it great. My grandmother did it in a wheelchair. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
And then my other grandmother, my nonni, who lived in Boston, and my mother will attest to this, so she made the best homemade raviolis. From the pasta, to the ricotta filling, to the homemade marinade, the way she would cook it, you know, you can't get that in a restaurant.
Awesome, man.
Now, those are memories that live forever too, right?
Correct, absolutely. And then just being blessed to have the mother that I have, who is the oldest daughter of the 10 kids. My grandmother and her, my grandmother and her
There's
grew
no
up.
TV, bro.
Yeah, my grandmother and her grew up more like siblings because my grandmother had her at 16, 17. And that was the normal age. It wasn't
Yeah.
like an
Right.
oops thing.
Not like
She was
now.
married to my grandfather fresh out of the 8th grade. So, you know,
That's
so
nuts, bro.
she like grew up with her daughter, my grandmother. So,
Jeez.
you know, she's the one that's got the hand with the sauce and everything. Every holiday's at our house. You know, every meal is wonderful.
Basements. You guys did basements.
Of course.
Dinners in the basements.
Yes.
Cookies in
My
the
mother
basement.
still has plastic on the chairs.
Nobody's ever seen daylight of upstairs.
Well, yeah, we're a little modern in that we are upstairs now, but yeah.
You guys got promoted.
We did. We got promoted when the pandemic happened because I had to move my whole radio show to the basement.
Oh shit.
So we started doing that down there, and now my mother says, you know, My
Thank you.
basement's not my basement anymore.
At least she gave that up willingly.
She did, but she wants it back. She's like, all right, you're successful now. Do something. Build a house, buy a house, get the fuck out of the basement.
Thanks, Mom. So my next question is, does your family call it sauce or gravy?
Whatever you want it
No,
to be.
no, no, no
All
offense
right,
on
so I'm
this
going to
one.
tell you the truth.
Go ahead.
My mother always called it gravy growing up.
See, I knew that. I felt it. I felt
Called
it.
it gravy. She did. My grandmother always called it a gravy too. That's just, like, and here's how you debunk it. And I know they say it like marinade sauce goes on pizza. But when you put meat in it, it becomes a gravy. That's how they looked at it. There's really no wrong way to say it. It's the way you grew up, I guess,
I got it.
I won't get into the debate like telling someone, hey, like, I don't care that much.
I'm going to tell you this much. I'm tired of the debate. I'm just going to be here with you, and I'm just going to say you're right.
Here's what I'm going to say. And I don't want to throw this out there sounding mean or like I'm judgmental.
Go ahead.
But it's old now. If you're going
It is.
that route, get some new content, my friends. Who cares about sauce or gravy?
The reason why I asked sauce or gravy is not to have a debate.
Is it Sicilian or Napolitan?
It's Sicilian. It's because
What if it's both? If you got both in the bloodline,
And I don't know what the you are.
you know what I mean?
I guess that makes a gravy.
And then I torment my friend who's Barese. I tell her that's like speaking
Jesus.
Chinese.
Yeah, it
You
is.
ever listen to that language?
Oh my God, dude, it is Chinese.
Yeah,
I need a decoder ring. for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that is.
absolutely.
What I was trying to say is the reason why I asked for sauce and gravy. It's not because of the debate. It's because
And the Sicilians, asa. Pasta con sugo.
it's because I always get a different answer. What makes it gravy? I'm just curious to hear
Yeah.
what people
Listen,
say.
I think it's absolutely sacrilegious, and I'm looking at you saying this. You know who you are. You put sugar in your sauce?
Thank you.
You put sugar in the sauce?
Nope.
I don't know, babe. Do we put sugar in the sauce?
I don't.
She's laughing. You
She's
hear her
laughing.
laughing?
Oh my
She's
God.
laughing. You hear her,
You're
right?
one of them. Sugar in the sauce. Can't do it.
Marcus puts a lollipop
Yeah.
in the sauce.
I put potato.
All right.
That's it.
I don't know about
But
that.
I remove it though. I don't eat it.
Why?
I
But
throw it out
why?
because it acts as a sponge.
Why
and
don't
it
you just
removes
make
the
pasta
acidity.
con patata?
No. If I make a sauce, the acidity goes into the potato, and the potato gets kicked.
But I don't know. Maybe it's the type of tomato.
What if you're doing the Marzano tomatoes?
My mother
or
does
what's that?
San Marzano. It's never acidic.
What I do with the potatoes?
People do the sugar thing. I'm just not a
Yeah.
fan. That and baking soda. It looks like a science experiment. Like
I-
a witch's cauldron. You ever see the video when they put the
Yeah.
baking soda in? It's like, what
Yeah.
is that?
I seen the baking soda once or twice. I won't eat it.
Wait,
Yeah,
baking
can't do
soda
it.
in the sauce?
Yes.
And what is that? Thicken it or
No.
Gets
it's
rid of
supposed
the
to
acid
remove-
altogether.
Yeah, it removes it all.
I mean, let's face it. If you don't get a little heartburn after a Sunday dinner, are you really Italian?
Right. You got to be equipped with Pepsids and Tums.
I got heartburn every night. What
And
is
I'm
that?
going to debunk another thing.
Go ahead.
We don't eat at 2:30 in my house
Thank
on
you.
a Sunday.
I do.
And then what are you going to eat? A bologna sandwich at 7:30 at night like a jadru?
Right, and then 10 o'clock rolls around. There goes the cereal.
Correct.
So my one thing my family still does is eat Sundays at 2:30.
Yeah, I'm just teasing.
I know.
No. It's because
It's because of me. It's me. I'm the one who.
every time he comes over on a Sunday,
Well, I do 3 masses on a Sunday, so by the time I get home, it's only 2:30. It's like, who wants to sit down and eat dinner then? I'm just like, let me get lunch. Let me have a snack, you know?
Right.
Or I walk in and I smell everything frying. It's so delicious.
what
you
he
know?
does to pick on me is he comes over, we eat dinner Sunday 2:30, and as soon as we're done, he goes, "What time's dinner?"
See, in my house, we eat around, and this may be late to some of you guys on a Sunday, 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Sounds good to me.
And you know, we have a beautiful meal. The table's always full. There's everything from soup to nuts, and then in the background, you got to have Joe Piscopo on the radio. Sundays with Sinatra. That's my man, my paisan.
I would actually prefer dinner 6:37 because
so
I
good.
end up becoming a night muncher then.
Then
That's
right
what you're
after,
doing.
right after, would you go right into the dessert?
The watermelon.
know?
The watermelon.
Because fruit was always the dessert.
Watermelon.
Yeah, man.
Come on.
Grapes, watermelon,
Sicilian.
tangerine. See?
It's very
It's
Sicilian.
always a munamopo.
In the summer, watermelon out the fridge. Whew.
Yeah?
No,
Nah.
I didn't say dip it in the gravy. I just said,
I say cannolis. I say all the
Yeah, but that's what causes the problems. You know,
the
you lose a
FBF, as
toe.
my father calls it. The FBF. You know what that is?
No.
Fat bastard food. You can use that.
I like that. That's good. I fucking like that. I'm gonna use
I don't know
it.
why you tell those words. I got a flashback. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You thought it was Flashback Friday.
I don't know what the fuck that was. I was like, oh, that's good.
Fat
So
bastard.
you took my next question, which was, what would you call an Italian-American Sunday?
Fat bastard dinner. No, what would I call an Italian American Sunday? Faith, food, and family. The 3 F's.
Right?
Food and family.
I would, yeah, faith, food, and family. That makes sense. I
Yeah.
like that.
What would you call it?
Leave me the alone day. Sundays, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody, bro. I don't want to hear nothing. Family, friends, whatever. I'll see you later.
Fair enough.
You
That's
know?
why I spend half the day in the church.
There you go. You already got your points in. I'm good.
Put the phone on silent. Maria Venuto's texting me all day. I'm like, talk to your husband. Hi, Marie.
So outside being a teacher,
Yep.
music, church, disc jockey, he has all the hats that, I love to do. I love the entertainment world, but I can't sing. What does Vinny do on his spare time? Like, what's fun for you?
He hangs out in basements and goes on podcasts.
Weird. It's really weird.
What do I do on my spare time? Man, it's interesting because the stuff that I love doing, I don't look at this like as,
A job.
yeah, so this is fun for me. This is spare time. This is,
Like hobby wise, I think he's trying to get is like hobby. Like if
Yeah,
you're at
I'm-
home, like do you do puzzles? Weird shit. Wearing knit sweaters and shit.
like real Bobby Medigan stuff. What do I do? I'll tell you, I'm a Christmas nut. I love
Really?
all things Christmas. So like, I'm literally just coming off
So
the
you-
craziness of being Mr. Christmas. And, I'll get in the car like I did all last month and I'll go to Dyker Heights just to take a ride, or I'll go up to Rockefeller Center, or I love going to concerts. I love to go see a good Broadway show. I feel like,
But not by yourself.
no, I'll go with friends, a couple of the teachers I teach with, because we're in the arts department. If I teach media broadcast and the theater teacher wants to go, we go see the shows. For me, it's like, you know how expensive it is to go to the movies today?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's almost $30, $40, $50. So for $20 more, you go to the city, you watch a nice
show.
live show right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. I love that. I love reading. Love to read books, specifically books about people that I happen to know, right? It's crazy. Autobiographies by some of my friends, whether it's Joe Piscopo, Priscilla Presley's book. I like to read books. I like to learn about the intricacies and the behind the scenes lives of the people that we've probably grown up to know and love and respect and admire. And then you realize, woof, the heaviness of it. And then you stop and you say, thank God I got the life I got,
Like the whole Bing Crosby thing. How nuts was that?
My brother's in the room right now. You're lucky. He'll flip this table. He hates Bing Crosby.
Dude, you would never know because watching the movies, listening to him sing, everyone grew up going, "Oh, he
My
sounds like he
brother
could be a
thinks
great
Bing
guy."
Crosby's the biggest piece of that walking face.
No, but can I be honest with you,
Like, if you got him on here right now, forget it.
dude? With the things that I've heard that he's done,
He's biting his hand like
I know
the
he's
behind the camera.
gnawing at the wall.
Can't stand him.
But I'm just saying, you wouldn't expect it on first shot from listening to him and
I
watching.
would.
Yeah.
Who's names their kid Bing and thinks they're going to turn out normal?
All right. Okay. So argument made.
Bing.
Is that God?
Well, what a character.
Have you seen him? He looks like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a little bit. When he walked in, I'm like, Father.
He's got hair down to here and a beard down to here. It's either that or they call him in the family John the Baptist. If he does eat locusts and honey, too.
I think I hear him breathing.
Oh my god! But it's true. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Like watching it because I watched, White Christmas or whatever it was with my mother, and I'm like, and my mother was like, no, he's the bad guy, and I'm like, dude, the domestic violence, the violence to the kids, what the fuck, yo, insane. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. My brother wants to go piss on his grave.
It's that bad, huh?
said
Dude,
enough.
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's true. You don't know what you're
Happy
gonna get.
holiday.
I'm guessing
Because he's singing them on Christmas.
Happy holiday.
I'm guessing Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white.
So I'm guessing you get happy when you hear the Christmas music in October.
Bro, I listened to it from September till last week.
Ah, bro, come
Till
on.
last week. Here we are. We're in the new year already.
Ring it in.
Judge me.
Judge me.
So since we're in it's Die Hard, a Christmas movie.
I love it. My Christmas tree is
Is
still
Die
up
Hard
in-
a Christmas movie?
Well, I'll tell you. I will tell you even better.
Go ahead.
Home Alone.
I asked Darlene Love in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
You know who she is, right? Do you know who
I
she
believe
is?
so.
See, you guys don't know the name, but you know the songs. She's the original voice of Christmas. The snow's coming down.
Oh,
Christmas, I'm watching it fall.
Okay.
I asked her if Lethal Weapon was a Christmas movie because, you know, those always happen around Christmas time
Yes.
too. Lethal Weapon, Christmas movie or an act. She said it was a Christmas movie. So I'm going with Die Hard
Really?
was a Christmas movie.
Yes, it
too.
was.
I never even
Absolutely.
knew Lethal Weapon was in that category.
Yes.
Oh.
We're talking the first one, right?
Absolutely. And she plays Danny Glover's wife
Mm-hmm.
in the movies.
And, all right. I'm not arguing with you. Because
Finally.
She is
He
the
gives
queen
me
of
one.
Christmas.
I believe him. I don't believe
Yeah,
you.
everything comes out of my mouth is dog shit. Everything comes out of everybody else's mouth gold.
It's great.
Unbelievable.
Thank you for setting this straight.
My pleasure.
We're putting that
That's
clip
listen,
out.
anytime you need, that's what I'm here
And
for.
we're putting that clip out because people argued with me and I don't want to hear it anymore. Actually, Silvio was the only one who agreed with me.
Because he felt bad for you.
Yeah.
So, Vinny, what do you got coming up next? What could you share with
What do I
us?
got coming up?
What's the
Also-
future? The
If you could tell
future.
us.
So yeah, I've been in the studio. You know, last year we had a great success with an album called Pitney Black, which was a tribute to two '60s legends. This guy named Gene Pitney and another one named Jay Black. You definitely would know the music because you guys grew up in Italian households. You know the songs. So that did really well. Maria and I finished our Italian album, so that is officially on its way
Cool.
out.
That's awesome.
Finally, a collection of everything all in one place. Right? Some beautiful stuff. Because we've done singles, but people have said to us it needs to come out as a cohesive thing, like
Right.
in one spot. So that's finally dropping. And then later this year, I have an album of all like 70s one-hit wonder bubblegum tunes
That's cool.
coming out. Yeah. Some things are happening in radio, of course. And, you know, you just have to keep your eyes and ears open. I stay very busy. I grind.
Good.
I move in silence and then I just drop stuff. I'm not one of these people that teases things for months.
Mm-hmm.
Put like one or two posts out, something's coming out, and then bang, I just hit you with
That's
it.
the best way to do it.
It's like a 1-2 punch.
He's a sniper.
Yeah. It's like Joe Maselli. Boom, boom. Who was an Italian boxer. A cousin in my family. I could tell you tons of history in my family.
You should probably think about writing something these down, man.
Everybody tells me that.
But you should.
And then if you want to know
it.
the other side, I could tell you that. But
No, that's for another day.
that's there too. What murder? No.
He was the best guy around.
It's funny you brought that up because someone found him.
I seen that.
And he's an old man now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was filmed in what the night that
In
clip
the
was
80s.
80s or 90s? No, who was that?
It's like probably the late 80s, I want to say.
That was towards Gotti.
It was towards Gotti, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you
Yeah.
think he was talking about you?
No, no.
Best
I
no.
guy
got the kids
around.
saying that in school. Mr. Medugno, what murder? And I look, he was the best guy around. I tell them, go run downstairs to Miss Tina's office, another resident Italian in the school.
Yeah.
And they run by and they go, Miss Tina. She goes, yeah, what murder? You hear her scream. She laughs. It's great.
Yeah, I'll be like, where did they teach my kids?
That's it. Teach them all.
Salmon sin something?
Huh?
No, I thought
You having a stroke? What?
that'd be hilarious.
Like, what
No,
is that?
I thought I
That's like-
remembered something wrong.
Right.
That's
She
like-
said to tell you Salmon Sid.
Salmon
Oh, Jen Delantro.
sin. Yeah.
All she says, say that word, he'll laugh.
Salmon Sid.
What is that?
Sid Rosenberg, we love him. He's the host of the morning show on W. So I'm on WABC on the weekends. I
Sure.
do the music side. It's great. I work with Joe Piscopo, Tony
on Friday.
Orlando, and cousin Brucey. But Sid Rosenberg does the morning show. So last year we did the Columbus Day parade together in the city. Actually, 2 years ago, because last year's was canceled from the rain. You know.
Mm.
And Sid Rosenberg, you know Sid?
No.
Gotta
We were
look him
just
up.
told, say these words.
Say
Sam.
He's-
Salmon Sid, and that's
He's
it.
quite the character, Sid. He's one color from head to toe. It's like salmon. He's like
Pinkish,
he's like pinkish,
peaches.
sun-tanned.
Wow.
You know, Jen Delandro gives him a little bit of the boop, you know.
So I guess he looks like a salmon
But
fish.
he wore a nice colored coat and he was sitting on the convertible top. And I don't know why I was getting on the trolley at the parade, and I looked over, and she was with me in the trolley, and I looked, and I just went, Sam and Sid, and she shit her pants. It was me, her, and Gianni Russo from The Godfather.
Yo, that is funny.
He had his scapadels on with his, scarf and his stick, and he showed me. I said, why do you carry that around? He goes, because sometimes people try to attack me, and I just give him a quick crack in the head with this cane. That guy's a goat. He's the goat.
Wow.
Greatest of all time.
That is funny.
So it was pretty cool. So it was me, him, and Jen Dolce. And I just looked over and seen Sid, and it was like a vision of salmon. It was like an apparition of the patron saint of salmon.
Hysterical.
Good, Sid
She
Rosenberg.
didn't tell me the whole story.
He's an honorary Italian. We make him an honorary Italian.
Nice.
Yeah, you caught me off guard with this.
Yeah, I'm like, salmon something?
She told me 10 times. I forgot about it.
Salmon Sid. I bet she said it all loud to ask him about Salmon Sid. He'll laugh. Just tell him.
She said he's gonna fucking laugh.
What about Salmon Sid? What the hell did they do to their face?
You know,
See when she does
I'm
that?
thinking you're having a stroke. I'm like, what did
Yo,
you
you made me think I was having a stroke.
What did they have done? What did they do? Come see me. I'll give you Botox.
What's your opinion on Botox?
Cats and pudding. What's my opinion on Botox? No comment. I worked with the high priestess of Botox at one point.
Did you say the high priest?
The high priestess
Oh.
of Botox. Before it was even a thing.
Mm.
Big Ange.
Oh,
She was the best.
you worked with her.
Went
Wow.
with her a couple times to watch her get that stuff. I want to get a little. I gotta stay young. Vinny, how do I look? Let me see, Angela. Smile. I am smiling.
I am smiling.
That's but it's true.
She was the best. I gotta get a little here, put some in my neck. Before it was even a thing.
Right. So how
was a trendsetter.
So how was she? So how is it that before it even started that she was doing these things? Like, did she just knew about it?
Well,
or-
she was funny. She used to tell me stories about herself. She was like, very lazy. I said, what do you mean? I don't want to be bothered doing makeup. What do you mean, Angela? She had a lip liner tattooed on and her eyeliner.
Stop.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was the real deal. And you ask Italian women from back in the day, validate this right now in the comments if you see this. They'll tell you that was a thing back in the day.
Tattooing the eyelid?
Tattooing the eyeliner and the lip liner.
Permanent makeup.
So when she was on the show Mob Wives and she started to research, she was always famous, Angela. She was a staple in the tri-state area just as a bartender.
Maybe that's what Big Joe, he tattooed eyeliner.
You think Big Joe tattooed his eyeliner?
He's going to hate me, I said that.
I don't know.
He's gonna hit the shit out of both.
Oh,
of
he
us.
wears guy liner. No. I love Big Joe.
Wow, Joe's
Such
the
a
best,
great
man.
guy.
Oh,
I
he's
said that
awesome.
because people...
I know. I laugh with all his content all the time with that. But so I went with her one day and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I get a tattoo. That's how she would talk. She would like whisper with no voice.
Yeah.
I get a tattoo. All right, Angela, what are you doing? I'm getting to tattoo the lip. So she got half the lip done. They came around the show. I can't do it no more. It hurts.
Stop.
So she had half the lip done at one point. We were late. I said, you got to go back and do more.
You finished.
What are you doing? I the fuck out of here. And then she did half an eye at one point. But she was great. Angela was a character. But she was a larger than life character before TV discovered her.
So what were you doing with it? Like, what was
I
your
DJ'd
capacity
in her
with
bar
it?
a few times. And then when Mob Wives blew up, the second season that she got introduced, her family asked me to assist. So I assisted. They're great people.
Awesome.
And I, her niece did a great job with her too, but her niece was young. So sometimes I would travel with her. Her nephews would travel and whatnot. And just, it was organic because she knew that I knew like the business. I was getting a degree in the media and whatnot. And, VH1 said, why don't you be part of it? So it was just a great experience.
That's awesome,
I used to
man.
sit with her or her niece would sit with her, depending upon whichever one of us had the access to the social media accounts. And she would say, I don't know how to. I said, no, it's not. What? I don't know how to tweet. I don't like tweet. I said, tweeting, Angela, tweeting. Whatever it is. So she would narrate her tweets, as she would call them, to me. And I would write her comments and she would tweet. We would live tweet the show. But she liked watching it in her bar with her fans. Her family was great. They would cook tons of food, bring it in trays.
That's fucking
Everybody
awesome,
would
man.
eat. They were the greatest people. She's one of 7. You know, all her nieces and nephews. It was like a party atmosphere. Her sister's house was gorgeous. You walked in. It was just a great experience. And unfortunately, she passed away.
Yeah.
But she was something else.
Wow.
I say I was fortunate enough to almost meet her because she also ran around with a clique that was getting into filming.
Yeah.
And
And what you see is what you got with her.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's who she was. There was no putting it on. A lot of them were great. Renee was a sweetheart. Karen Gravano was a sweetheart. You know, Carla.
Yeah, I went to their her memorial dinner in La Mela in the city when she passed.
Yeah, that one I wasn't at. I was fortunate to give one of her eulogies. I was
Yeah.
with her family in the hospital. She was a beautiful soul.
And I met two people within that dinner that were stunt doubles for one Robert De Niro and one Joe Pesci.
Mm-hmm.
And they even came to the dinner in character,
The face, right?
but he looked just like De Niro, and
Yes.
she looked just like him. It was
Wow.
yeah, but it was like a happy dinner, even though it was for a
Yeah,
sad
yeah.
cause.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Her wake was insane. I don't want sadness. I want shots of Patron every motherfucking hour. And I want disco music. And I want it loud. And if they tell you to turn it down, tell them to go themselves. That was literally what she said.
That's awesome.
And we turned the music up.
There you go.
Vinny, you DJ. I was not bringing DJ equipment to a funeral, to a wake. So we had a nice speaker. We did it classy.
Nice.
It was great. And only Angela, and people that probably are watching this that may have attended the wake, because we opened it up to fans, they'll agree to this. It was so true. Only Angela got away with this. She had a silver pewter disco ball colored casket.
Oh,
no way.
Brother-in-law was a funeral director. He had this casket in stock. And he said, I can't get rid of it for the life of me. And we all collectively agreed, it's as vibrant as she is. She would love it. Put her in it.
Nice.
Her sister agreed. Everybody agreed. She had a beautiful mink on, beautiful Chanel scarf, beautiful to the nines. She class act, Angela.
Wow.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It was definitely a sight and an experience. She was an experience.
She went out in style. Too.
She went out in style. How blessed I was to be one of the many great people that were around her and worked with her during her success. And she was the type that shared it. My greatest thing out of it wasn't really like a paid job. I was just there to experience it, to learn.
Big learning curve.
You know, it was.
That should be payment enough.
It was the media industry, just to be on site for the filming, to go with her to appearances, you know, yeah, very, 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 very cool.
See, sometimes I tell people that what he just said. Sometimes doing stuff like that for free,
Mm-hmm.
it's a learning curve that you will never forget, and sometimes
Priceless. Can't put a price tag on it.
you can't.
Got so much more out of it than any monetary value could ever give.
Absolutely,
You know, and
I
it
agree.
shapes you.
definitely does.
Absolutely.
And you take that to your grave.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Because I ain't passing it down. I ain't sharing it with nobody.
Well, you're sharing it here.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, this is great.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
nah.
I'm a big fan, I got to say.
Stop.
Nah,
I
stop
really
it.
am. I really am. You know, it's winter time. That's why I'm a little bundled up tonight. Otherwise, I was coming with the Sergio on. I was coming with the Sergio and the Igornia bracelet.
You need. Oh, where is it?
It's home.
Oh, come on.
You know.
You're not Italian then.
Yeah, I'm not.
We
I'm
got this
Sicilian.
German
You're
guy
right. I'm
here.
not Italian. I'm Sicilian. Don't get smart.
You're fucking smart.
Lock
with
the
it.
doors.
Mazzado Pagliado. Put him in the bagnolo.
Yeah, the baguette.
But Vinny, I just wanted to thank you so much for
The pleasure was
coming,
all mine.
Seriously.
giving us the opportunity, getting to know things about you that I didn't know with all these people you've met. It's incredible.
Write a fucking book, dude. Seriously.
Maybe
I
one
think you
day.
should.
Maybe one day we'll get a Ghost Rider, and it'll be called like the Italian Forrest Gump or something. I
Yeah,
don't
we'll
know.
come up with something, man.
Hey,
This
you're
is
running with
good.
that name. Why not? I see it.
I don't see a problem with it.
That's it. I'm registering and I'm trademarking it. Don't
There you
don't
go.
take the idea.
He's even giving you the horns.
That's it, Igornia.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
That's it. Happy New Year to you, and I wish you guys a better year than you had last year, which was a pretty big banner year for you.
Yeah, well,
I wish you a banner year this
Oh,
year.
before we leave,
Yeah.
you said you have an album dropping.
I do.
CDs, records,
Everything.
iTunes.
I'll pop open the trunk of the car and sell it. Everything.
Oh, wow.
Everything.
What's a CD?
Come on, bro. I grew up with CDs.
I don't know. I gotta test you sometimes.
Compact disc.
Compact
Dischi.
I dischi.
I dischi. Che vuol dire? Che va la.
Thanks again, Vinny. Good
Thanks
night,
for having
everybody.
me, you guys.
Yeah, man.